Yeah.
That's Jerry. Hey, come on.
How come I got to sit next to this gay guy?
All right, well, let's maintain this energy. Welcome to Texas Frightmare Weekend, presented by Aero Radio. I'm your host, Ryan Turek from House and the Shockwaves podcast, and I'm absolutely honored to be here with these men on the stage. I grew up with these guys, watching their films, watching them kill a lot of teenagers. I may have dressed up as one of them from time to time.
Hey, old man. Yo, hey, over here, there's a seat up here.
Down in front.
What's it called?
There's a seat up front here. Right here. Sit over here. Now, can we get this fucking show started? We ain't got all day, you know what I mean?
All right, gentlemen, I want to go down the line, introduce yourself to this amazing crowd. You already know who you are, but just for those who might not, please. Kane, we'll start with you.
Is Steve Dushkowitz, and I wore a sack.
Hello, man.
I'm not gay hard. I'm what's left with dead white.
I'm CJ Graham, Jason Part 6.
Boom, baby.
None of these guys would have a job if it wasn't for me. Turn down top 3 like an idiot. Go ahead.
I'm Ken Kirzinger.
If you ever have any Shudder executives, because I want to pitch a reality show. Jason. All in the house, no, straight out of the cabin, living together. Gentlemen,
I get the big bedroom though.
so good.
I get to push Steve down the stairs in a wheelchair.
Guys, you guys are rock stars. Let's just talk about how after nearly 40 years, this franchise has endured. It's got an amazing fan base that loves the franchise and is clamoring for more. This goes out to all of you guys. What is it about this franchise that you feel has such staying power, and especially staying power with this character, Jason Voorhees?
There it is.
He goes, kids. You're gonna have to ask you to leave.
Well, guys, we'll start with Ken. I mean, why don't you guys go down the line, really quickly tell us about how you jumped into the franchise. I mean, you guys all came from different walks of life in the industry, but, and the franchise has endured for such a long time. But just kind of give us a little micro story of how you got into your film.
Well, I guess I started on number 8 as the stunt coordinator and a stunt double in the fry cook that gets killed. Kane and I think, are the only guys that have played Jason and been victims of Jason. I was interviewing for the stunt coordinating job for Freddy vs. Jason, and they asked me if I would like to audition for Jason. And the rest is.
Wait, did you say that you're the only person to play Jason and a victim of Jason?
I said,
Yeah.
don't worry, Kane,
I couldn't hear it.
Yes.
Steve, it's your turn.
Steve, go ahead.
I'm gonna be here all fucking night.
Turn the mic on.
When I got the job, they hired another guy to play Jason. Before I got the job, there was another guy to play Jason. You all know who that is? Piece of shit wearing. They hired him to play Jason. He couldn't do his own stunts. The guy who was the stunt coordinator on the show, Cliff Cuddy, said, we got to get another guy. We need somebody right away. So he called me up and he said, Steve, he says, listen, I'm doing this show up in Connecticut. He said, the name of the book, because they had a working title, and the working title was Jason. He said, we're doing this film, Jason. I said, yeah. He says, yeah, we got a guy that we hired to play Jason, but he can't do his own stunts. He's a piece of shit. I said, okay, why do you want me? Because I'm a piece of shit also. He said, well, you know Kane Hodder, don't you? I said, he's another piece of shit. So I also know CJ Green, who's gay. No, I didn't say that. I'm just saying. I said, yeah. He said, all right. I said, good. He says, all right, you got to come up to Connecticut. He said, and meet the producer and the director. He says, you got the job. I said, I got the job. He said, yeah. I said, holy shit, I got a lead role in the film. To myself. I was very excited. I'm going to be the star in the movie. I'm going to be on Johnny Carson. And they're going to interview me, and I'm going to be great. And I went up to Connecticut, and I walked in the producer's office.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a joke. This is not meant to laugh. The man talking to you right now got out of the hospital 3 days ago and was not supposed to be here. So I think he deserves a big hand.
Thank you very much, Ted. I was testing out for your role in the hospital when I had a heart attack.
The doctor did tell him for real that he would never make it to this convention. And he's here, so.
They did, but I gotta tell you, I laid on the gurney in the emergency room and I said, I gotta be out of the hospital by Tuesday. The doctor says, no way, you're gonna be here a week and a half. I said, Doc, I gotta get out. He says, why? I said, I gotta go to Texas. My original story. I swear to God to you, it was motivation for me to get better and get here. That's a fact. That's a fact. That I was very, very sick, and that I was almost dead. And is there any more accolades you want to put on me? I'd like to.
Kane, got something?
Well, yes, can I say something? That Steve's son was with him when they were going to the hospital, correct? It was your son.
Yeah.
And Steve told his son, I don't think I'm coming home. So, that's pretty cool.
I only had 8 heart attacks. I got 14 stents in my heart, 2 in my groin, 2 in my legs, 21 stents. I've had 7 heart attacks. I got diabetes. I'm like a used car. I look good on the outside. I'm telling you, I'm like a used car. I need a new engine, a fuel pump, springs, and things. And if any women hit on me, you're wasting your time.
So what you're saying is Jason does live, huh?
Yeah. Just 1 minute. He told that heart attack thing 4 years ago. Same story.
How was he? 4 years ago.
We're trying to see CJ into finish.
He's not a used car. That's how I got the job on Friday the 13th, part 2, and I turned down part 3, and if I didn't turn down 3, none of these fucking guys would be here.
Why did you turn down part 3?
Because it was a cheap show, man. It was a cheap show. I was working on Guiding Light with Kevin Bacon, who was in the first I can tell you stories, folks.
CJ?
Is that my turn? It's Mike Hewitt. Very respectful of all the men at this table. I was very fortunate to step into a role and become part of this iconic image. Even the right place at the right time, the capabilities of doing the job, and I think did well. So I'm just one of the people that just stepped into a role, was given a challenge, and rose to the occasion. I'd like to thank. So I was very fortunate to do Jason in part 6 and become part of this family.
Wake up, Teddy.
We're going to go a monologue or something.
No, I didn't know when he's done. He keeps talking. Well, the part
Hey, Ted's 92. Let's hear it for Ted. Ted's done more movies than I've masturbated.
Talk about masturbating.
Hey, free guys.
Mary never says no.
Wow.
Well, the part of Jason, I wasn't called to play Jason. I went down to read for the part of the policeman. And after reading the policeman part, they asked me to go out in the hall and sit and wait. And they talked it over, and they came back in a few minutes and said, well, you got the part. And I said, the part of the policeman? They said, no, the part of Jason. But then Jason didn't say anything. He said, well, didn't say anything. That's not funny. I haven't gotten the funny part. So I said, well, what do I do? They said, well, Ted, have you ever seen Friday the 13th? And I said, no, I haven't ever seen it. Let me read the script and let me think about it, and I'll tell you tomorrow whether I'm going to take the job or not. And I was just that serious about it. So I went home, and my youngest son, he came in and he said, what's the script at? And I said, it's Friday the 13th. And he said, oh, Jason? And I said, yeah. And he said, what part for you? I said, well, I'm going to read for a part of the policeman. And he said, Pop, that's nothing. You got to get Jason. You got to part for Jason, the biggest thing. And he said, all the kids are going up, everybody go see it. You've got to get the part of Jason. So I went back to that day and I said, listen, I read the thing, and if it's still open, I'll take the part of Jason. And he said, yeah, it's still open. So the first day we shot, we were down in Kane, and it was about 1 o'clock in the morning, and it was the very first scene that I worked, and they had the rain going, and you know they make false rain, so they had the rain going. And the houses were about 60 feet apart. And in the first shot, the first scene we had to do, a girl was running from one house to the other, and I was supposed to chase her. So we were sitting there, and the cameraman said, well, we're all ready to go. And they had me in costume and everything. They said, got the girl ready. They said, okay, action. The girl took off running, and I just took off running behind her. And he said, cut! Run. He said, Jason doesn't run. He doesn't run, he's not crippled, is he? This is not supposed to be funny, you're laughing your ass off. And I said, well, if he's going to run, if she's going to run, I've got to run to catch her. Otherwise, I'm not going to catch her. And he said, well, that's the whole point, you're not supposed to catch her. And I said, none of this makes sense to me. Actually, that's the story of Jason. None of it really makes sense. The whole thing is a joke.
Well, I don't have a real exciting story. How many of you know Dick Warlock? Warlock is a friend of mine. He was a sun coordinator for 5. And he said he's going to bring in a couple guys and say, Tom, I'd like you to come in because I think you'd be good for the part. So I came in and I did the thing and we talked to the directors, accused him, and they said, okay, we're going to accuse you. And I said, well, okay. I didn't know I was getting into. I talked to him. He says, you make sure that check clears. This is one of these low budget things. So I went ahead and did the show, and for years after that, I was the stunt double for Roy. So Roy was really not with Jason, and he'd go to conventions and pick me and usually sign, and it was several years, or 10 years or something, before someone asked, well, who's this guy that's, the stunt double Roy? And I said, well, that's, Tom Roy's son. So well, he recognizes. He said, well, yeah, he's one of the ornaments. So all of a sudden I was asked to come here, and I don't you folks.
It's your time.
Well, I mean, you probably heard the story, but
Yeah, we did.
if you'll only have a little death tonight. Now what if it happens? Usual death if it happens, but by the time I was considered to play the character, it was now known all over the world. After CJ did it, it became far more of a well-known character. Ted, Tom, CJ. And so by the time I was being considered, I knew how huge it could be to play that character. And I had been a horror fan my whole life, watching all the classes. Anyway, so John Beekler wanted me to play the part. I had done a movie called Prison with him the previous year. And he said to Paramount that he wanted me to play Jason. And I don't think that anyone was against CJ coming back. But what did work in my favor was that there was a lot of big stunts to do as Jason in this movie. And, being fully on fire and all kinds of big things that helped my case. And Beekler finally convinced them after filming a screen test out of his own money with professional equipment and everything, and me doing stuff. Then I finally got the job, and then, for that first, I think it was 11 months or something after I did that movie, and I started realizing I could go to conventions and sign for free, by the way. Not the case anymore, sorry. But for the first less than a year, because fortunately I got Jason Takes Manhattan the following year. But for that first year, if I ever signed an autograph, I always put Kane, Hodder, Jason number 7, because I was one of 7 guys to play the character. Once I started the movie and Jason Takes Manhattan, and I dropped the 7, but if you ever see that autograph, I think that's far more collectible, because they only did it for a short time. But anyway, after the first one, and then they seemed to want me to come back in Jason Takes Manhattan, and then Jason Goes to Hell and Jason Nixon, and I felt like, I was pretty well set and loved playing the character, unlike Steve, who would turn it down. What a brilliant move that was. No, I don't want to play a character that's known all over the world again. So,
I walked up, all right? I walked up.
Watching this one Jason out in the middle of the crowd is just staring at. He hasn't moved. Can you just raise your hand, sir?
That was good. You can't, he's in character.
I'm very curious. You guys talk about how these films. You guys got to remember these were low-budget films back in the day. They were studio low-budget films. Except for Freddy vs. Jason, some of the more new Jason X was a little bit more studio, a little bit more money thrown at it. Take us to the set of these movies. What is the vibe? I mean, some of the older films that I read about. I'm reading The Making of Cujo right now, and it is insane what they did on that set. That was a low-budget film too. But I'm curious for you you guys, you know, was there a sense of control on these sets, or were things played really loose and you know, did things go a little nutty sometimes? I'm curious.
Sorry, this end again?
Well, for you, I mean, for Freddy versus Jason, I mean, like that film, I'm sure was a little bit more under lock and key to the studio.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
They knew it was going to be a big deal.
Yeah.
And Ronnie, you, the director, was a Hong Kong director.
Yeah.
I'd never seen any movies, apparently, and that got his impression of what Jason looked like from comic books. And
You said the comic book, he was more inspired comic
he was
book.
a comic book. I don't know which one. I think it, you know, was probably one something comic book.
Yeah.
So he was had a very clear vision of how he wanted the movie to be and how he wanted the character to be and stuff like that. But it was very, it was probably a little bit different than the others.
Yeah. I'm just curious, guys, if if you felt the studio presence coming down as the films were going on.
Oh yeah, no, there was a lot of eyes on that.
Yeah.
I think in part 6, you know, I didn't.
Not your fucking turn.
I didn't realize he had something to say. He used all his minutes. He's done.
First of all, it was the first really Friday that he did besides Betsy's film. Betsy did that film because she needed to buy a car. And they paid just enough money to buy the car. And the movie was a big success, Friday the 13th, as you know, the original, which was a great film. I really think that was probably one of the best ones. And, Betsy was a wonderful woman. She did a great job on the film. And at any rate, when they did 2 and there was an adult Jason, that was a whole other ballgame. And they gave the film, Paramount gave the film to Frank Mancuso Jr. That was Frank Mancuso was the head of Paramount at the time. And Frank Mancuso Jr. was his son. And they gave him this as a project. $900,000 to shoot. That's shit money. And believe me, we all suffered because we were in the camp at night. There was no heat in the camp at night. Cliff and I stayed with the stunt coordinator. We went out and bought heaters down in like a Kmart or whatever, and brought it back to the camp with us. It didn't work, so we had to put cellophane up in the rooms to keep, you know, like to maintain the heat. That's how cheap they were when they filmed. I'm serious as a heart attack. And I tell you, it was a run. I had a heart attack. So you know I'm not lying. And you look like you're right behind me. You look fucked up. I'm not. Did you bring a note? You're late. Did you go to the bathroom? I thought so. Anyway, it was a very cheap film, and I did it, and I really had a good time doing it because of the stunt coordinator. I was a stunt guy, you know, and I had a good time because of it, but we made the best of it, you know. There was other stunt guys on the film. We did a lot of shit. It was fun. You know, we didn't make any money on it. The residuals today are great, 2 cents, 8 cents, you know. But at any rate, it was a very low budgeted film. And when they were doing part 3, this is the truth, I was back in New York. I was starting a film called Alone in the Dark with Jack Palance and Donald Pleasance.
Yeah.
And I played Dr. Barkin in that film as an actor. And I also was on Guiding Light with Kevin Bacon. I played the football coach. And then they called my agent. They said, we want to do part 3. And my agent called me and said, they'd like you to do part 3. I said, I wouldn't do that piece of shit again. Had I known then what I know now, I would have did it. For nothing. But I turned it down, and that's how Richard Brooker got the job, and Kane and CJ and all these other fucking guys.
How did your, this is a question for all of you, how did your director get you into the mindset of Jason? Because you all brought something. I think you guys all brought something very serious. I think so, for sure.
No, you a masterpiece of acting. It was a fucking guy chasing I didn't run in the movie, I loped. If you look at the film, I loped. I didn't run. Because Amy still ran so freaking fast, I couldn't catch Ray. I mean, that's what Ted was right. It was all about chasing a girl that you never want to catch. And, that's what it was about, killing the kids and all. Matter of fact, that was one of the things they asked me when I went there. They said, you think you could do this job? I said, yeah, I can kill kids. I got a lot of kids.
Well, CJ, you, I feel like Jason Lives is totally much different than the other films. Tommy did something that was a little bit more tongue-in-cheek. There was some more, some nice little nice little nods to other horror films. But for you, I'm just curious about how he approached the Jason character. In terms of how he wanted him portrayed in this kind of totally different film.
I think that Tom McLaughlin was both the writer and director. He had his own concept, but he brought to the table. My understanding, what he told me, that when we went to Frank Mancuso Jr., he wanted to do some different things out of the box. And my understanding is Frank Mancuso Jr. said, as long as you don't make fun of Jason. So, I was fortunate to step into a role dead center of the series and be able to, build upon the first 4 before me, 5 before me, and then go forward where Kane and Ken picked up and have taken it to where Gary Beers is as of today. The budget question, we are $2 million, which is not a lot of money, and again, these men have more experience on that side of the business. But I will say, the cast did such a great job in part 6 that when we got back to LA, there was money left in the bucket. That we went back and did a couple more kills, and some of that's contributed to the actors and actresses that were out there working. A lot of the stunts were first one takes, we didn't have to set up and retake, spend more money. So, anybody could use more money. At the end of the day, I think we were fortunate being in the middle because, it was more of a different series. I mean, I'm very blessed. Alice Cooper gets to do the music. That's cool. Utility belt like Batman. I mean, how cool is that? You got James Bond scene opening it up. And kids come back like Frankenstein from the 60s. So I really got in a good place with it. I was very fortunate, and again, I'm just happy to be here and thankful for what the fans have brought to it and a lot of these actors up there on the stage to keep it going for so many years.
Yes. I'm curious, for your film, were there any particular challenges or set pieces that you thought were going to be challenging on the day? But what I'm seeing saw that they pulled up. And I think you guys can realize when you do a slasher movie, it takes a lot, especially it's stunt-driven, it's coverage-driven. There's a lot on the director to accomplish these really great kill sequences, especially when you have practical effects. So for you, Ted, were there any kills or any major set pieces that you found challenging?
When I got the part of Jason, nobody had told me exactly what they wanted. Frank Mancuso Jr. was the executive producer, and I knew him from golf. And we talked briefly about the show and the budget and so forth, and the stuff, of course. But as far as Jason, what he was supposed to do, I had no idea. And after reading the script, all it said was Jason killed this person, Jason killed that person. Nothing exciting about it. And so the first day we were shooting, we started out at 3 o'clock in the morning, put makeup on me. At that time, the makeup was different pieces of rubber glued to my face, and it took so long to get it all in. That after 3 days, they decided they're spending more money on makeup than they were on the picture, and that had to be stopped. So they made a complete mask that went over my head and glued down around my throat, and that was the way we started off. Tom Savini, and I hope he's here. You're doing all that if you really know was young. Anyway, he's putting makeup on me, and he says, Ted, you have to be very careful about the guy you're going to kill in the shower. He said, that face that you're shoving into the shower is not his face, it's the face that I made. And there's only one face. So we got to do it very carefully and not hurt it. And I said, all right, I'll handle it just like that. Now, it's not some big stunt, you're not doing any high falls or anything. Just calm down and just do it very gently so we cannot crush the face. And that's fine. So we got ready to shoot the scene, and the director said, Dito was in there, I believe. He said, how's this going to work? And I said, well, I don't know. I said, yeah, I got a phony head. I said, we'll start off with the real guy, and you'll see me start pushing him back. And I think there's going to be a cut there, and then you're going to cut to a close-up with the real guy's eyes and so forth, and the fright. And then we're going to cut to the phony head, and which I'm supposed to smash, but now I'm told that I can't smash it. And the director said, what do you mean you're told you can't smash it? He said, well, it's the only head he's got. He said, you mean we can't afford two heads? Now you're getting to the very technical part of the movie. So anyway, we got baby shot, and we shot the whole thing with the real guy, and then we got to the phony head, and Tom came in the bathroom, and he's showing us what he had hooked up. He had closed his blood up to the head, down below, and he had all the blood black. He'd squeeze the tube, the blood would come out the nose, the blood would come out the mouth, and the blood would come out the ears. That's perfect. That's exactly what I want to see. What are you going to get? As soon as Ted gets ready to shove his head against the wall, that's what's going to happen. Just bring the real guy in, let's get the close-up. They brought him in, they took the close-ups. Now as we're all done, get the phony head and line it up. So Tom lined the head up, and same height as the guy was. And put all the tubes up to the head, inside and everything, head down below. And the director said, let me see the blood come out a little bit. So he squeezed those balls of blood, came out, went up the ears and then he said, that's fantastic. He said, the only thing left is Ted is crush the head against the back of the wall. I said, that's it. So he turned around to me and he said, Ted, you think you can handle this without tearing the head up? Because we may want to take 2 or 3 takes. And I said, well, wait a minute. Let's get it all straightened out. Isn't this the head we're supposed to crush against the wall? He said, yeah. I said, well, how am I supposed to go 2 or 3 takes and not crush the head? It just looked like you're crushing it. I said, how do I do that? He said, you mean as a stuntman doing something all these years you don't know how to fake it? And I said, yep, I think I got it figured out. He said, what's that? And I said, give me an old camel and put some mirrors on it. And I said, I'll crush it against the wall. He said, no, we don't want that. We'd see that. I said, well, let's just go ahead and start shooting and see what we do. He said, fine. So they brought the guy in, the real guy, and I started with him. Then we got the head, the guy from the waist up. And Savini's down below him, and he's got probably a gallon of blood down there to work with. The director said, all right, here we go. Action. And the head goes back against the wall. My hand comes up, and I'm starting to push. I hear someone saying, easy, easy. I said, now, son, this is easy. I pushed that head against the wall, and I thought Savini was going to have a heart attack. He said, I told you that's the only head we've got. And I said, yeah, well, I've only got one head too, and that head told me to do it. That was part of the job I had as Jason on Friday the 13th, the first one I ever did, and the only one I did. And had I known I had an opportunity and I was asked to do 5 and 6, but I was working on the shows and didn't take it. But if I look back now, and I wish that I had taken it, because I want to know, if I had been, I would have been Kane Hodder Jr. And, you know, to do 5 and 6, I had 3 of them behind my belt. And look at all the conventions I could be going to, and look at all the stories I could be telling like this. Look at him. He's so rich, he doesn't even have to come to these things anymore. So that's the whole story of my business.
there's nothing Dan Steinman, the director, so you can talk about just working with him.
Well, unfortunately, I'm not that good at storytelling with the rest of the guys, and I don't have any really exciting stories to tell. The whole thing was, if this was shot like what do you think a low budget movie might be, and there's not a lot of control. But by the time I was doing my film, Dick Warlock was the stunt coordinator. He's experienced, he knows all about what we were doing, and we coordinated about the kind of stunts that we're going to do. It was a chainsaw fight, or fall, or didn't hit by a tractor. We worked it all out. It just went pretty smoothly for everything we did, and I don't have any great real stories of screw-ups or things because we seem to do everything in order. We did have naturally some challenges that we worked through and got done, but for the most part, it all went pretty well as planned. And Dick was very professional most of the time. But there was one occasion when I was when I was wearing the real Jason mask. It was like a flashback. I was standing there.
Watch it.
And
Talk real shit. Watch it.
Tommy's looking down from the bedroom window, and you see Jason standing under the tree. So all I had to do was to stand there with a mask on, just look up. That sounds pretty easy. Well, underneath the window is the kitchen door, and Warlock, my coordinator's there, making sure everything's going right. So he opens the door of the kitchen, which can't be seen by camera because the camera's up here looking down, and he moans me. He wanted to get me to laugh and start chuckling and moving and wreck the shot just because he was talking. But I managed to hold still. But that's the only real exciting part I can That's the story, but that was me and Dick.
Did you end up working with Dick Warlock after?
Oh yeah, I don't know Dick Warlock.
Yeah. Kane, out of the films that you've done, which one is the closest one to your heart? Your personal favorite?
Part 7.
Part 2.
What are you laughing at?
Part 2. Part 2 is your favorite. That was yours.
Sackhead, yeah. I love playing the character in all of the ones I did, but Part 7, because it was the first one, and as a stunt person, I had to do so many big stunts in the movie because typically not that much happens to Jason. But the storyline was such that she made things happen to Jason, so it was a lot of fun. I was very serious about the performance in that one. It wasn't until Jason Takes Manhattan that I felt more comfortable because now I was doing it again, and then I could relax a little bit. And the directors, each time I did one, they let me have more control of what I thought the character should do and things like that. Like Part 8, there was a scene, you've probably heard this story, but where Jason comes out of the water on the docks and a dog confronts him and Jason kicks the dog. And I was like, I mean, that is not something Jason would do, is what I told him. I said, first of all, it's a shitty thing to do to an animal, but that's not the reason I was so much. I just didn't think it was a Jason thing. So I refused to do that. And then I started having fun on the set, like, let's see, what character? There was one character, I can't remember, where I grabbed really close and we were face to face briefly. And I said, I just shit my pants. Because you can't see me saying that. I was just trying to make that actor crack up, but they held it together, so. This was when I was on Arsenio Hall. He asked me all these questions, and I was laughing my ass off, but you couldn't tell. You look at the character, and I was like motionless, like him and him. But you can get away with a lot And the classic one that has just surfaced in the last couple of years, a photo of this. But at the beginning of Jason Takes Manhattan, we're on a small boat, and I have a spear gun, and I jam it through a guy, and then I go after his girlfriend, and she hides down in the hatch. And so the scene where it's her point of view, her POV, so the camera's down in the hatch looking up, and I open the hatch and look down at her, and she's like, uh-oh, I'm dead, you know, that type of thing. So when the camera was down there, I opened the hatch, and I had worked with the special effects people before, so as I opened the hatch, I had a really long penis sticking out of my pants. And I could see the camera roll laughing, I mean, I always took the character seriously, but man, when you wear that makeup for as much as 3 months, that Jason X, we shot for 3 months. It wasn't until I made Jason X and Freddy vs. Jason where they had decent budgets, right?
I just asked you one question.
Uh-oh.
I've never heard of you shaking your pants.
I did.
You're an integral part of Friday the 13th video game. How many of you guys have played? Out there is you playing the video game. Is there a video out there of you playing the video game yourself?
I don't think
I'd
there
love
is
to know how
because I suck at the game. So we did the motion capture. First of all, I was honored that the game makers thought that I should do the motion capture for Jason, because you can play as different versions of Jason in the game. Ones that I did not do in the films, like you can play part 2. I think you can play as Roy too. Yeah. So in the motion capture, I had to kind of, out of respect to the other guys that played the character, Ted, Tom, everybody, I had to kind of keep in mind their performance, not just what I thought Jason should do. So I had to run as Jason, because when you play as part 3, Jason, he runs. So it was a weird thing, because I've always fought against running. All 4 movies that I did, I never ran. So, but, you know, out of respect to the other guys' performances, I tried to maybe incorporate a little bit of what they did in the motion capture. So
He did a shitty job, too.
that was shocking.
You've got the band on your head, they know it's you, they know it's not me. He's got this body that goes, they know it ain't me.
Because Jason isn't 5'6".
Real quick,
He's got a point, he's got a point.
We'll open this up to audience in a second, but I just want you guys have very long stunt careers outside of Friday the 13th, so I want to go down the line and name one film that you've been part of and just a little anecdote. Cool. All right, Kane, 7.
One film we may have done as stunt people that might have a story film. I mean, a few of them come to mind. I was very happy that I stunt coordinated a movie called Monster with Charlize Theron. And I was just telling this story yesterday, but I'll make it quick. I played the cop that arrested Charlize at the end of the movie, and she was very method in her portrayal. And I appreciated an actor's, you know, being that invested in the character. So she said, I had to handcuff her outside the bar and then put her in the back of the squad car. And she goes to me, she says, okay, when you put me in the back of the car, just throw me in face first. And I thought, oh, okay. Can I just tell you one thing? Just please. I don't want to hear anything else about it. Just throw me in head first, face first, with my hands behind my back. What I was trying to tell her, and those of us that have been in the back of a police car, I know some of you have, will probably realize that very often in the back seat of a police car is a hard plastic shell. It's not a cushy seat. So because of blood, it comes off easier and stuff like that. Less places to stash things. So it's a hard plastic one-piece shell. That's all I was trying to tell her, but she wouldn't let me, so I said, okay, Mrs. Over here. You got it. And I threw her in that car, face first, heard her clank around in there, her head hitting the seat, and then they cut, she comes out and says, oh, okay. I see what you're trying to tell me.
Tom, you did some stuff work in the first 3 Star Trek films. Any fun memories of that?
I don't have any great stories, but I did 20 years of Star Trek, so I did a lot of aliens and creatures. Yeah, question good.
Oh, he's called.
I need some help. I'll tell you, there's a real good story. Here's what I can tell.
Well, if you want to tell the good look at the bad ones, I got a little bit of both. I guess the first thing I had to do in the movie, was they wanted this guy, a big guy, to be in bed with this lovely lady, and her husband was in the Navy, was coming home, and he opens the door, and the guy jumps out of the bed and runs and dives to a window. And that's why it's up there. And you're going to have a pair of boxing shorts on, very loose around your legs. And this girl's going to come in and get in bed with him. And it's a nice looking blonde girl, about 19 or 20. And that's a picture all over your head. One of the dirty-minded people. And her husband comes in, and you jump up and run and dive out the window. And I said, okay, it seems like you know what to do. So I get in bed, and he comes out, and he put a sheet over me. We start the scene, and here comes people, and I mean, this was a knockout little lady. This was at 46, 23, whatever. Knockout. And she looked over at me, and in bed, and she said, are you ready to do this kind of show? And I said, I guess so, I'm here. She said, all right, so she gets in bed, and now she starts getting a little risky. While they're holding the camera, changing the camera over to another position, she starts messing with me. And I'm saying, you don't do that. There's nothing you can do, everybody, the camera's right there in that room. She continued on messing with me and messing with me. And finally, they got the camera set, and the sweat run got on my face. And they said, all right, here's the scene now. And the husband comes in, and she runs. Now, Dad, you jump up and run out the window as soon as we holler. I said, okay, so I had to roll the camera. I rolled it. And I'm in bed, the sweat's running off my face. And they said, the husband's coming in the door. The husband's coming in the door. I heard the word. Ted, the husband's coming in the door. I said, John, Ted can't get out of the bed. I tell you, the motion picture business has got its ups and downs.
CJ, you were Hell Cop in Highway to Hell. Any fond memories from that film?
I mean, the Helicopter never made a national distribution. Hemdale, they produced it, bankruptcy, when they made a distribution. But they gave me an opportunity to work with Christy Swanson from Buffy the Vampire, Chad Lowe, Rob Lowe, her brother. You guys remember Patrick Merchant, sitting in opposite Julia Roberts, who was the devil. And then Lita Ford.
Yeah.
Remember the 80s, and there was some rock and roll in the 80s. She was a very strong, stout woman that, was all put together. The Highway to Hell crew had a good time with her because they kept wanting to retake. I don't know if it was intentional or I know it was intentional. They tried to put on a good bitch about it. But I had a good time doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's too bad I didn't get a distribution for those of you who've seen it now that it's out on Blu-ray. It sat on the shelves for roughly 25 years until United Artists and GM bought it, and then they threw it out there. But it has some characters.
Yeah. I thought the makeup was really good on your character.
One of those people that just have really cool opportunities to just did not make the distribution. But you know, we all do those things on the set. We have a good time, and you know, I think that at the end of the day, as long as you get the job done.
Without an erection.
Get the job done, we'll move on.
Now, Steve, correct me if I'm wrong. You worked on Ghostbusters? You were part of the stunt team on Ghostbusters?
Yes, I worked on Ghostbusters. What are you, on clap, you bastard? He's not clapping. He's just sitting there with his dick in his hand. Yeah, I was in Ghostbusters. I stunned up with the environmental protection guy. We did a car crash scene, and then I was what they call a utility stunt guy. I was on the show for 3 weeks. It was a good show. I did probably, in my time, I probably did about 40 films, and about 35 of those films I was a stunt, utility stunt guy, or stunt guy, as Kane would say, a wannabe stunt guy. Well, Kane never considered me a stuntman, you know that. He always said I was a wannabe stuntman. But then what the hell is he? You know, he's a fucking bird, right? Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
That's what you want to know?
That's good.
I'm done. All right, I'm done.
Ken, Bad Moon. Any fond memories from Bad Moon?
No. That was like the worst costume I ever wear.
You're a werewolf because
Yeah, so Mike Breakers is a werewolf. I put on this werewolf suit, and it was, they built this suit super tight that fight these dogs. And look out for about this big, an 85-pound suit on for 30 some odd days or whatever. But I remember I was also a stunt coordinator on the show, and I was prepping the show with the director, and we've got this fight scene at the end, and he's got it all storyboard. He's got this scene of this kid, and the kid kicks the werewolf in the nuts. and so I got to that storyboard, and I laughed. I said, "You really get out and do that?" He goes, "Yeah, no, we're good, you know." And then, all right. So it's like the last thing we shoot the whole movie, and we get to that, and they go to set up the shot, and the first AD yells out, "All right, time to kick the werewolf in the nuts," and the whole crew just cracks up. And then he goes, "All right, we're not doing that."
Well, I gotta get these guys back. Thank you so much, gentlemen.